local, state, and government should not be bothered as to why the price of foodstuffs are currently out of control.
Okay. Now, well, the CBN actually raised the interest rate by 150 basis points from 24.7% to 26.25%. And we're going to keep an eye on that one. For business owners, of course, it's going to mean that they actually will pay more to collect loans. And what that translates to in coming days, we would like to find out as well. Now, let's look at the second story.
But you know that when you increase interest rate and business people are paying for loans, you understand, with increased interest, who bears the brunt?
Nigerians.
The consumer.
Yeah.
And the same consumers that are already going in on their own. Out of it. Is it sometimes when you look at all of this economic things they pushed out by the CBN, how is it bearing? You know, the ordinary Nigerians, how much of firm control does the CBN even have on all of this stuff? Probably we need to get out of all the theoretical explanations and begin to
look at the reality.
So more than 75% population of Nigerians are talking about.
Okay, I don't know what it is that that is in the mind of the CBN or the federal government, but one thing is clear: their actions this year alone has always been very reactionary and trying to fight these giants, apparently, like the Goliath, in the Bible. So let's see.
That a lot of Nigerians are going struggling about cash. You go to many banks, in Port Harcourt today, the beginning of the campaign, you have the counter. It's 5,000 naira. Able to access point of sale terminals, POS operators, all of them now are now taking up their prices with the singular excuse that cash is not available in the bank. They now have to buy cash from other people to put to spread also their customers. So when it comes to where Nigerians are now buying cash,
and even to buy the cash is expensive. Yes, I think to buy 50,000 naira is like 1,000 naira right now, and that's not fair.
Economic management team of the what are they doing? So it's a big issue. This is why they're angry, and you have to understand why this is so.
Okay, I hope the network is going to allow us to have a robust conversation as we get into our bigger conversation. But now let's go to the second story very quickly before we go on a break. And talking about the NLC and the negotiation. If you are following the NLC president's words, we believe that the negotiation is on right now. I cannot confirm that, but going by what he said earlier, the tripartite committee is supposed to be meeting again on the new minimum wage after the 54,000 naira proposed to them, and they have also rejected. And they are still insisting on 615,000 naira as minimum wage. Now that the interest rate has increased, what do you think? Let's just compare this to information now, Leko. What do you think is going to happen to the economy? Yes. I can hear you.
I can barely hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, going to have to try to call you back. And just to know.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I was asking about the NLC and their insistence to get the 615,000 naira as minimum wage. The negotiation table, I hear they're going to get back on that table again today. If we are going by what he even said, they probably should be on right now. That's a tripartite committee. They said the governors weren't there yesterday and they're expected to be there today so that they can put their mouth and let's all agree on what it is exactly. And they say 54,000 is really small and doesn't cut it. What do you think?
So I think the figure being banded by the Nigerian Labour Congress is not feasible. 600 and something thousand minimum wage. You also have to look at what would be the effect on the economy that is still struggling, an economy that is even yet to find its feet. Bringing about if you are going to be paying civil servant minimum wage of about 600 and something thousand, what is the multiplier effect on the economy? Now you are even going to have probably a galloping inflation or a hyperinflation. You now even have more money now being printed to be able to satisfy the demand of the Nigerian Labour Congress. I think rather than that, Nigerian Labour Congress should be fighting for more palliatives, I should say. Probably there should be greater palliatives. They should also be looking at the housing sector. They should be looking at the transportation sector, and if possible, so something that guarantees some reasonable level of food prices stability. Maybe for civil servants, probably something they can waive out for civil servants to be able to get food, maybe at a much more stable rate, rather than
insisting on 615.
614,000. It's definitely not feasible. I'm sure NLC themselves know it is not feasible. But some don't blame Labour too. When they know how much political office holders also have access to, how much some members of National Assembly, or maybe some people even in the Federal Executive Council, or those who hold political positions, the amount of money available to some of these people, then you may not also put the Labour. Look, if politicians can have access to it, some politicians will probably sit for barely 200 and maybe 10 days in a year. If, for example, you have members of the National Assembly, constituencies, they have to sit for probably minimum of 180 days in a year. You understand? And they know how much each of these people earn. We have 360 House of Rep members, 109 senators. And you check what is their salary every month, or allowance every month, and all of that.
Yeah.
So you may not blame NLC sometimes for
insisting.
This figure.
But what do you think is the most feasible? What's the feasible? Like you said, the one that is feasible, that is in tune with reality. What should that look like? What amounts would you propose?
Yeah, it depends really. The federal government has to be more forthcoming in terms of revenue. And
give me a figure. I want to hear you call a figure. 100K, 200K. What's feasible?
It's difficult to call a figure until we know how much is completely available on the table. Because, for example, federal government comes to this and I say, look, federal government, I know you are making 1 trillion, every month. Out of this 1 trillion, nearly 400 million, or nearly 400 billion, is going to payment of wages, allowances, and all the rest of political office holders. Of course, NLC won't be happy. That's why I said federal government needs to be more forthcoming. How much comes to the coffers of the federal government or the state government, for example?
Yeah.
How much do you use in paying political office holders? How much do you use in traveling, in drinking wine, in drinking water? How much? Okay, can we cut down on all this and see whether we can add more money to available amount to civil servants in terms of a minimum wage and all of that? That's why they call it a tripartite, meeting. Everybody must come to, they must be truthful as to how much is available, how much can be earned, how much can be expended. It's difficult at this point in time to put a figure, on this. If the economy were to be much better, I'm sure anything will be demanding for 600 and something thousand minimum wage. If the economy was stable and good, if the minimum wage is 30,000 and the economy is within the range of what 30,000 can afford, I'm sure there won't be so much over increase in minimum wage and all of that. But federal government, Labour, and state government must come together and be able to say the truth as to what they can earn. We've seen what happens in many states where some governors simply refuse to pay the minimum wage even when the money was available to pay. So these are all of the things that they must come to the table with, speak audience with the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, be able to know what comes into the consolidated revenue fund of the federal government, how the money is shared, who gets what, how can we mop up what we think are wastages and not the rest, and be able to avail members of the labor, of the organized labor.
Okay. The final story on this segment of the show, which is we call Market Watch, we have the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit saying that some lawyers help criminal-minded people to invest and conceal their client proceeds of crimes. That's according to their Chief Operating Officer, Emmanuel Shotande. He says he's advising lawyers to be diligent in their dealings with politically exposed persons. What do you make of this?
I think NFIU have their facts. I don't know what other platform, when they make this kind of statement, they should be able to also back it up, with facts. If they are lawyers, found wanting in the course of their investigation, and they've been able to prosecute these lawyers, then they should be able to make some of these names available. It's not just enough to make sweeping allegations against lawyers. It's specific in names, specific lawyers that help politicians to conceal their ill-gotten wealth. And the only way you can do that is to charge them to court as an accomplice, charge them for conspiracy, or as an accessory to fraudulent transactions. When you charge them as an accessory and they are found guilty, then you can as well now begin to mention them. So when you make these sweeping allegations, then they ask you, can you give us names of those you have protected, for these offenses? And you can't give anything. Then we just feel that you are just trying to make a statement for public sensationalism rather than something based on fact.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one if perhaps maybe they are on their way to actually indicting a lawyer or someone, and then perhaps we'll don't really understand how this works. And perhaps it's also a pointer that it's time we strengthen our institutions and strengthen our systems to not allow such to happen, and to be able to at least find exactly who these people are. Okay, and let's see. And that's it for here on Market Watch. It's time for Insider Tips. And on Insider Tips, we're looking at the economic summit going on right now in Port Harcourt. Of course, the River State government is holding an economic and investment summit in Port Harcourt. The Obiwale Press Conference Center precisely, and they've gathered economic experts and they are brainstorming right now. Conversations have been on. We have the list of those that are present there right now. I know that the former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, is there. He's the chairman of the event. I also know that I also see Professor Kingsley Moralu is also there. Of course, we know he's a presidential aspirant, and also he's been the CBN as well, and so many big eggheads, like I call them, really smart people in the world of business. And the question I'm asking you today is, can the summit deliver economic growth for River State? My guest is still on the line. He's the editor of Independent Monitor newspaper, and that's Olalekan. He's also actually speaking with me from the summit conference, the venue of the summit precisely. Thank you so much, Leko, for joining me again.
Yeah, thanks once again for having me.
Okay, so now we delve deeper into this. I mean, when we had, actually, let me just start with beginning of this year. I had a couple of guests here who, amongst many things, called for a summit in River State. And this was at the heat of all of the tension we saw happen in the polity. And I had precisely Wenandawa Ali, aka the Godfather, calling for an economic summit in River State at the time. And I think that was in February, March or so. At the time, he was basically advocating for it at the time. And so many conversations were also held around that particular call afterwards. And here in May, we see this happening, although it's happening in line with the 1 year anniversary of the governor. It's kind of, for me, I see it as a good step away from all of the bass boosts that we've seen happen in the polity and all of the crises and the different people and the pros and the antis. We see this as a breather. I see this as a breather, and for once, River State, we're all holding our breath to talk about something that will actually move the state forward, talking about economic growth. Now, Mr. Leko, from a journalist perspective, what are the key takeaways you've gleaned from the summit's theme and opening remarks?
I think it's been a decent offer. Normally, what you expect from economic and investment from it. I listened to the governor, who is the chief driver of the economy of the state, and I think he made some good notes. And one of the ones that government said, what he said was when he talked about setting up a promotion agency, a business promotion agency. So, like a one-stop shop, will enable everybody coming into the to get access to whatever they want in just one location, rather than running from 1 minute to the other, running from one to post and all of that. Is going to set up a business promotion agency where you just walk in and get all the facts you want about the state and its economic potential. So beyond that, is the fact that opportunity because it affords them the avenue to be able to discuss one-on-one with government officials, discuss one-on-one with financial institutions in terms of real estate sector and all of that. Because in the long run, there will be breakout sessions after the opening ceremonies. I'm sure they will break into various business sections where I'm sure there will probably be sections on maybe agriculture, there will probably be sections on real estate, there will be sections on transportation, there will be sections on tourism, there will be sections on law and business financing, there will be breakout sections for financial, by the financial sector, the insurance sector. I'm sure they will break into various sections so that they can interact, with people, with major policy decision makers that can help grow business in the state. Outside of Lagos State, Rivers State has the second largest GDP in Nigeria after Lagos State. So it places Rivers State at a very premium, location. And the economic potentials are there. Like I always tell people, let's say, for example, Rivers State, we're about, let's say, the population of people in Rivers State today, let's just say we have 4 million people staying in Rivers State as of today. And if these 4 million people spend 1,000 naira, I'm putting a conservative estimate, if these 4 million people spend 1,000 naira on food every day, that means at the end of one day, we'll have spent 4 billion on food alone every day. Now, multiply 4 billion by 30 days. It means at the end of 30 days, Rivers people will have spent 120 billion on food alone. That gives you an idea of what is food economy in Rivers State. Now, take that to transportation sector. Take that to the housing sector. Take that to luxury sector. Take that, to tourism. Take that to any sector you want to look at. Take that to hospitality. It gives you a fair as to how the economy. So, at the opportunity in the real way, the other will definitely be in all of the branches. So, extra delivering to add more. And not in this company, you know, the supply, the employment, even as it said, the revenue of the government will move. It does mean that more people are about it, and more people are about it. Of course, need other facilities to come up with it, housing, transportation, and all of that.
Yeah. Now, who are you most interested in hearing from and why? I know there's so many, that diverse range of dignitaries from different sectors. Who are you most interested in hearing from and why? Did you get the question?
Hello?
Yes. I hope you heard me.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said the summit boasts of diverse range of dignitaries from what you've explained. And I'm wondering who you are most interested in hearing from amongst those dignitaries and why.
Well, no, the dignitaries wouldn't be speaking, wouldn't be saying all in this first part. But this first part is more like a general open ceremony. I'll only be interested in the breakout sessions.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the different economic experts that we are expecting to handle the different breakout sessions. I know there are about 8 sessions. Which of them are you most interested in hearing from and why?
One, I will be interested in the session that will be talking about the environment. I'm sure you know that 2023 has been described as the hottest year in human history. That 2023 is the hottest year in human history. I want to attend any breakout session environment. How are we going to mitigate that? At the venue of the summit, I saw a company advertising CNG powered tricycle. There's a CNG powered tricycle. There's a CNG powered vehicle at the venue of the summit. So how are we driving cleaner and greener energy? I want to attend the session on that and see what experts will say. I want to attend this session, especially in agriculture, because the greatest security anybody can have on earth is food. And they said the number one need of human beings is food. After that, we can talk of any other. So I want to see how the agricultural experts will be. The governor, when he made his speech, he talked extensively on agriculture, talked about maybe an informal partnership with some kind of Israeli firms to revive some of the agricultural facilities that in River State are going to be doing agriculture in the state. I'll be interested in that. Now, one of the greatest contributors to the GDP of any country, of any state, is the real estate sector. I want to attempt something on real estate, on insurance and finance to see what future does mortgage hold for River State, and how, the state government and every sector can come together, come in unity, and ensure that we keep the burgeoning house rent, or house rent. The cost of house rent in River State, in Port Harcourt particularly, is increasing almost every year. So how do they keep the burgeoning rising house rent, with the rich, of the common, so to say. So some of the sessions are really love to attend.
Okay, I know that this sounds really interesting, and most times during economic summits, hopes are really high. A lot of people are expecting a lot of things. But then past economic summits haven't always delivered on their promises. What concrete actions or outcomes would indicate that this summit has been successful or will be successful, or what will just determine the summit's success?
But the fact that the success has been held, if you ask me, is only one step forward. They said the journey of 1,000 miles, according to the Chinese, journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step you take. Once you take the first step, 1,000 miles reduces to 999 steps. So, first step has been taken. The onus will now be on the government of River State that drives the entire economy of the state. What major planks are they going to be putting on ground so that people can step upon those planks and begin to help them achieve, their hopes and aspirations? The governor did talk about the one-stop shop. So I expect that one of the things they will make easy will be access to land. If you know the 4 factors of production economics: land, labor, capital, and opportunity, that is the investor. Now, how can River State make land accessible to investors? It's a critical factor in production. Now, when they have this land, how quickly can these investors get certificate of occupancy? Because with certificate of occupancy, you can approach any financial institution for loan to enable you to start. I will also be expecting that the state government will be able to form partnership with financial institutions to make some kind of loan available cheaper than the prevailing interest rate, so that something can be attractive for an investor to come. I'll be expecting that the River State government should also look at the youth. The idea of coming to stop people who are trying to set up one thing or the other in the state, maybe it has to be reduced the barest minimum. We should come by way of legislation to stop this use from troubling these companies. Then I expect that the state government should also come forward with the issue of multiple taxation. Can we harmonize all of the taxes in River State? So that when you pay your at any point in time, you automatically pay for all taxes recognized by the state government. Now, these are steps that I think state government should take so that gradually investors and more investors will begin to build upon it and know that, look, the state is good enough to come and invest. I also expect that the government of River State will also be training the issue of security. How much is the state government investing in security? How much are they investing to ensure that when people bring their businesses here, they will be safe and they are sound and can make a profit and employ people, of course.
All right. Now, yes, he's still talking figures right here on 92.3 Nigeria Info FM. And I've had the editor of Independent Monitor newspaper, Olalekan. He's speaking to me right there from the venue of the River State Economic Investment Summit going on right now in Port Harcourt. And he said quite a lot. It's time for you to join the conversation. I'm opening the phone lines now. I'm going to open the phone lines. When I open it, I'd like to hear what you think. What concrete action or outcomes would indicate this summit's success? Do you think that this summit can drive the economic growth that we all are yearning for? Can the River State Economic Summit deliver economic growth? That's the question. The phone lines are open now. 0817 923 0002. You can also call 0817 923 0002. Yes, we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. You can drop your messages there. I think today I'm starting with Facebook, and then I go to X. If there are messages there, I'll read it, and then I'll come to WhatsApp. So I'm telling you the order I want to go so that you decide where you want to drop your message. Okay, starting with Facebook now. I have Biambo Hansen. He says, that's for the question about whether or not the River State Economic Summit can deliver economic growth. He says, this is a welcome idea. Please let them implement, not too much talk. I also have Stanley Toby saying, good afternoon, Chioma. Ezewanfo, can Rivers Economic Summit deliver economic growth for River State? The answer is yes, he says. Without doubt, I'm bold to say that this administration, ably led by Siminala Fubara, is focused. The governor said, and I quote, we have earmarked $10 million for this fiscal year for the revival of the moribund agricultural sector, such as the Sunhigh Farm, School to Land project, fish farms, and feed mills. This is big, says Stanley Toby. Thank you for your messages. Then I also have one here from Ita Idawari. He says, good afternoon, Chairman. Yes, the Economic Summit will benefit the state if resolutions, communiques are implemented beyond new political rhetorics. I believe that the state government, led by a God-given governor, Siminala Fubara, has the political. We just cannot do without politics in River State. How about has the political will to make it happen? Thank you, Ita Dari. Send that in from Port Harcourt. Thank you for your message. Let's see now. Let's go to X, and then we come to WhatsApp. The question is, can the River State Economic Summit deliver economic growth here? That's the question. Let's see now. Do we have... Am I looking at the right place? Okay, so yeah, the phone lines are open. You can share your thoughts with me. What do you think? Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam.
Yes, you're welcome to Talking Figures.
Yeah, my name is Silvano Sopi. I'm calling from Tourist Beach in Abumton Kingdom in Port Harcourt.
All right. What do you think?
I want to thank our lovely, able, dynamic governor of River State, His Excellency Sir Siminala Fubara Joseph. I want to tell him thank you for the economic summit that is going on today. This economic summit, we brought a good result to River people. What may I say so? Because the government said that multiple taxation will be reduced. Once a multiple taxation is reduced for those who are going to do business in River State, you will see more investors will come to River State, because once it tax those who are doing investor in River State, they will go away because the tax is too much for them. But this our current governor has said that it will bring down the taxes down for them. I hope that if they have them 100,000, it will bring down the tax to 30.
I'm calling from Ghana. Hello, good afternoon, Marcus. Welcome to Talking Figures.
Thank you very much, Choma. First of all, I want to thank the governor of River State and all other organizers of this economic summit. Yeah, I have the confidence and I believe the economic summit will work if it will not just be a mere talk. Now, what I expect from the governor or the government is that loans should be given to small-scale and medium-scale businesses. You know, you can have business idea, you can have business plan, but where the fund is not there, there is no way you can establish that business. You can give out loans. I strongly believe that insecurity could be tackled, because no way business can grow in an environment where we have insecurity. It will not grow at all. I think somebody called on this program and talked about multiple taxation. Yes, it should be reduced drastically. By so doing, I strongly believe that it will work. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Marcus. 0809-030-6416 is the WhatsApp number. If you want to drop a message, feel free to drop it there. The question is still, can the River State Economic Summit deliver economic growth? And I have the editor, Independent Monitor newspaper, joining me, I beg your pardon, from the different panel, having different economic experts together to talk about different thematic areas, and we're all looking forward to all of them. He's really spoken quite extensively about that. And now, there's something that happens when things like this, that when summits like this are held, we hear from all kinds of all of the ideas being pushed out and being stated in such categorical manner. I'm wondering now, Olalekan, you're still there, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'm wondering, how can journalists ensure that we do not misrepresent or exaggerate, words and comments and statements that will be coming out from the summit? And then how can we even go a step further to hold the authorities accountable for achieving both economic growth and the environmental responsibility merely?
No, I think starting from the last, the governor promised to set up an economic promotions, maybe agency or council or something. I think that would be the appropriate place for us as media men to go and find out what these have been tied, what these are coming, and what are future plans to hold maybe subsequent economic and investment summit. So that'll be the history.
Okay.
Flowers only bloom for a few to see.
Nigeria Info FM, and we are wrapping up now. Miss Olalekan, you're still here, right? And you were saying, just before that break, you were saying.
Yeah, I would say that with the governor promising to set up a one-stop shop office solely for the purpose of promoting and encourage economic and investment in Rivers State, then it means we'll be able to have the place to go to be able to ask questions. Either the office will be domiciled in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, maybe under the office of the SSG, or even headed by somebody that is working with the governor. At least we'll be able to have a place to go to and find out what took place at this summit, what these were tied up, what these are coming up, and what are future plans to be able to hold, at this economic and investment forum. It's also be able to attend some of the sessions and be able to interview experts who have come here to state what are the current trends, in every sector and how that can be applicable. Like I always say, I mean, one of the best things you can do is always hear from a very credible source. And the best way to hear from a credible source is to listen to an expert and be able to record the expert, ask, the questions. That way, you say some of those things for posterity, you see them for the records, and you can benchmark whatever they say against the future occurrences that are to come.
All right, thank you so much, editor, Independent Monitor newspaper, Olalekan Ige. Thank you so much for being a part of today's conversation. And yes, we'll track the summit, of course. And all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and that's it on Talking Figures today. And the economic summit, I think you should keep an eye on it as well. If you're a business owner, find out what other thing, and I think you should also try to see how you can leverage all of what will be coming out from that summit. It ends tomorrow, by the way, and so we're keeping an eye on it. So you as well. It's Talking Figures that we've just wrapped up. Up next is Rivers Today, and after that, Kalada will be here for Hard Facts. It's been Choma Ezewan for leading you on for Talking Figures. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and you can catch it on Facebook. We're live and we're on YouTube as well, just in case you just joined and you think you've missed everything. No, we're streaming live, so you can watch it after now and have a good time. Okay.